Thank you. So yeah, you're gonna have to bear with me. It's been a while since we've kind of got together like this and spoken in front of kind of more than two people. And this is not my comfort zone. So I'm Pip, and I just want to kind of share tonight just my story, I guess, and yeah, kind of what I wish I knew, what I learned over the years of being in business. So that's me at the first Kent Foundation event I ever went to, which was in 2010. So that's me on the far left. It was in Canterbury, and I was there. It was the first event, networking, anything I ever went to. And I can't remember what it was about. It was the first time I met Stuart. And I think it was around skills and networking and that kind of stuff. And I remember just literally bricking it, not knowing what to expect, never been in any position like that. I was just finishing uni at the time. And I was there with a business that was essentially Facebook Marketplace, but for uni students. And that business didn't really go anywhere. But it was the beginning of one of the businesses I've got now, which is digitalbeans, which is a digital marketing agency. And how I ended up with that was in trying to reach out to companies to advertise on the business idea I had at the time. No one wanted to advertise on the site, but they wanted to spend money with me to either make a website or help them out with their digital marketing. So I sort of landed with a kind of digital marketing agency. So we've gone through quite a few pivots. So that is kind of 13 years ago. We're now a web dev agency. So we focus on econ builds and kind of complex websites and kind of quite bespoke stuff. So Digital Beans, and then my wife at the time, she's not here, was in a job that she hated. We graduated at the height of the 2008-2009 recession, and for no reason other than she just hated her job, did a course in fitting hair extensions, and she quit her job and got that as busy as she could get it, running around Kent fitting hair extensions. And then she got as busy as she could, and we were like, okay, where do we go from here? And becoming a supplier to the industry felt like the next step. So these are the two businesses that I'm kind of involved with today. Between the two businesses, we're employing kind of 15 people. Our revenue for this year is going to be just in excess of £3 million, and we are based. All the businesses are based the other side of Canterbury, but our Digital Beans team is now remote because of COVID. So I want to share with you just a few things I either learned or wish I knew at the beginning. And the first thing was I wish I'd kind of been told that to dream bigger. So when I started or kind of ended up with Digital Beans, my hope was to just replace the income I would have got from a graduate scheme at the time, which was roughly about 20 to 25k a year. And my first year revenue was 22k. So it's slap bang in the middle of kind of what I hoped and thought I could get. And I just wish someone or myself had thought, okay, you dream bigger, you can do more. And I'd set that target to 50k or 100k, and maybe, I would have done double that or something. I think that is, something that I haven't learned. I've learned more recently. It took a long time to kind of believe in myself, to think you can do more than you think you can, because I went straight from uni to this Kent Foundation event to then ending up with a business. My last proper job was front of house at the University of Kent at a cafe, so I'd never felt I had the skills to do something bigger. So I think dream bigger is definitely on top of my list. Focusing on what matters is another one. Been in business, obviously, 12, 13 years. Mental health has kind of gone through a roller coaster over that time. And I don't need to tell you guys that obviously right now is so easy to be sidetracked with Instagram and everyone kind of showing that they've got the best business, the biggest business, the most lavish things. And it's easy to feel like you're not where you think you should be and you're not as good as everyone else. But all that matters is, most of that is BS anyway, but all that matters is that you focus on what you did yesterday and try and improve on that, from one day to the next. So if you're running a service business and, you think you can respond to customers, in 1 minute quicker than you did yesterday, then that's what you do. If you're running a product business and you feel like you can improve some sort of efficiency, your product, your profit margin, that's what you do. forget kind of what's happening on the periphery and what other people are saying and what they're pushing. Just focus on yourself and just being, a slightly better version than you were yesterday. The same kind of what I struggled with as well is a lot of peers that I looked at, I felt were getting all of these mentions everywhere else and all of these awards, and their offices were full of couldn't see any wall, it was just awards, and I didn't have anything. And I thought, no, shit, I'm doing something wrong, what's going on? But ultimately what really matters is, being here next year, being here in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, not the awards or a press mention. That just means probably they're spending more money on press than you are. So yeah, focusing on what matters, which is you, and just being a slightly better version of yourself than you were yesterday. Surrounding yourself with the right people. This was something I really struggled with for a long time. I felt I didn't want any help, didn't need any help. I thought I could do it. I almost wore it as a badge of honor that I've done this by myself, and when I get there, wherever there is, whole other conversation, it's, I can say no one helped me. It was all myself. No one gave me any advice. And it was almost like a badge of honor, whereas now I'm looking at that and thinking, you idiot, you're literally trying to reinvent the wheel and solve problems that countless of people have solved before you, and you're just going, nah, I'm going to figure out when I figure out, which takes months. So yeah, surrounding yourself with the right people is key, and there's so much to learn. And that also kind of helps with the things before, right? So if you're surrounded with the right people, and by people that could be just one person, it doesn't need to be a whole crew of 10 people. It literally could just be that one person. So, they can help you on focusing on what really matters and not getting distracted, helping with your mental health, which, is very important. Dreaming bigger, someone that can push you, then go, no, I think you can do better than that. Why set your goal at 5K if you can do 6, 7, 10? So someone that can just push you further. So that was, something that I wish I did earlier on. But I sort of did do that. So going back to the original picture, the guy in the white shirt is my mate Ben, who I'm still friends with. Stu's didn't know if you know this. We're still friends with Ben. That picture was literally taken about 10 minutes after I met Ben. We're still mates. And our journeys have been entirely different. We've been in different industries, different businesses, successes, failures, and we've been through it kind of together, but kind of, just as friends. And that is literally the one guy I've had this whole time. And although we can't really help each other on the practical ground level, it has been that one person that has been, yeah, cool, push me when I need to be pushed, or kind of rein me back when I'm kind of going down the wrong path. So again, obviously this might be your first event, you might have done more, but kind of when you're networking and meeting people, kind of bear in mind that you might be making a friend for life, and they might be going through a very similar journey to you. And even though today it might not benefit you, maybe not transactionally, it might really help you mentally and with your business kind of 10 years down the line or something like that. Some final things I wish I knew earlier. I felt that kind of when I get there, not that I feel like I'm anywhere, but I thought that this kind of magical place, I would feel happier. But I feel exactly the same, with more or less the same insecurities, and just everything kind of as I did on day one and walking into my first networking event. So I just wish I knew and kind of was present enough to just enjoy every day and just the ride, which is easier said than done on the bad days. But the good days, I wasn't really present. I was just on to the next thing and on to the next thing. And it was never good enough because I was never where I wanted to be or where I thought others were around me. I thought the challenges would go away when you hit, whatever revenue or whatever kind of goal you're setting. The challenges really don't go away. If anything, they get worse. So I wish I knew that, because I kind of had this hope and also kind of down on myself that, the reason you've got all of these challenges is because you're too small still. It's just you. It's just, you've only got 2 people working for you. So that's why you've got all of these challenges. When you've got 5, it'll be better. And it just never really goes away. So I wish I knew that and could have been kind of less harsh on myself. And yeah, kind of tied to that is that more revenue doesn't make things easier. It just makes things scarier. So again, I think most people here have probably, are starting from zero, kind of landing into running a business. You haven't inherited some sort of multi-million-pound company. You probably wouldn't be here. So therefore, kind of making any form of investment, you know, more revenue doesn't make it feel any kind of less pressured. Like every time we send money to our supplier now, it doesn't feel any less scary than when we sent our first kind of couple of grand to our supplier to kind of get the business started. Every single time you're like, oh shit, like that's a lot of money, like hope this pays off. And I just thought that one day that might go away, but kind of, 10 years in, it hasn't gone away. I think, that's it. Sorry, I was told I had 10 minutes. I was like rushing through that. So, I think hopefully we've got some time for some questions. Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Fantastic, Pip. Truly inspirational. Are there some questions for Pip? About his journey.
Perfect.
Oh, yes.
Does the more profit make you feel better? Not really, because then you get the tax bill. Not really, because then you get the tax bill. No, I think just all of that kind of stuff is always a pat on the back. But unless you then enjoying the moment and you're present, you're just like, well, it's still not high enough, or it could be better next year, or when this challenge is solved, it'll be even. So not for me.